Hello fellow cyborgs! As I mentioned in Friday's video, I'm back from traveling. I was in the New England area in many states visiting many different booktubers. I met up with Kate Howe, Kristen from Vienna Waits Books, Hillary from Your Robot Friend, and Sarai from Sarai Talks Books. We hung out in Pennsylvania and then New York City. And then after that, I visited my sister for a bit, which was lovely, and then I moved on to Maine to visit Acacia Ives. Over my travels and with my various people, I visited more than 2 libraries, more than 10 bookstores, a few historical things, but mostly it was just a bookish trip. I also acquired 10 books, but I only bought 4 of them because booktubers can be some of the most generous people I know. So let's jump right into it. In Pennsylvania, we were staying with Kate's family, which was just very lovely, a nice homey touch at the end of a long traveling day. And when we arrived at her house, she had prepared a grab bag. She had 4 different Georgette Heyer books all wrapped up secret, and each of us, the ladies who were visiting with Kate, picked a book, and by the luck of the draw, I chose Charity Girl. So if you don't know, Georgette Heyer is a very famous historical romance writer, mostly in the Regency era, but she's done some other time periods as well. So from what I can tell, Charity Girl is about a runaway who runs into a viscount, and then romantic entanglements ensue. Kate also kindly gave me Winter Solstice by Roseman Pilcher. Kate can't stop talking about Pilcher, and Winter Solstice is on my TBR list, on my winter shelf for books that hopefully I could read around the winter season and feel all snowy and cozy. So she had this extra huge hardback lying around because she bought herself a paperback version of this. I can see why now. I'm hoping to read this with her in December and with some other booktubers, so hopefully that's still going on because I would certainly love to get to this sooner rather than later. And this has to do with a ramshackle house in Scotland and the inhabitants within it having to deal with their different life issues in a snowy winter season. Before heading to New York City, Kate took us to a book barn. So it is a bookstore in a barn, and it's 4 levels of magical bookish goodness. And I managed to find this little gem. This is The Linnets Tale, a novel by Dale C. Willard. This, I'm hoping, is going to be kin to Watership Down and Wind in the Willows. This is a tale told from the perspective of a linnet, which is a kind of bird, and he's telling a tale of his mouse friends. These mice are the inhabitants of Tottenham Burrows, and they have some very lovely names like Peebles Carryforth, Opportune Bags, Grenadine, Almondine and Incarnadine, Proserpine Pockets, Farnaby, Mercanty Swift, etc. The thing that really hooked me in though is apparently they have a mouse bookstore, and that is an integral part of their mouse community. It looked very cute. I also just love the spine and the cover, and it was, I just needed it. So I will be reading this before the end of the year, fingers crossed, because I'm hoping of the books that I purchased myself to read them within 30 days of purchased. So fingers crossed on that one. Wish me luck, but this one hopefully will be one of the easier ones to get to within that time limit. Then we went to New York City and we wandered up and down and saw many things and went into many bookstores, but the book that I purchased in New York City was Another Country by James Baldwin. This is the same James Baldwin who wrote Giovanni's Room. This Another Country is on my radar because somehow it has to do with mortality and death. I'm already about 114 pages in. I'm buddy reading this with Hillary from Your Robot Friend, and I don't really know what it's about, but it's so well written and the characterization is just on point, and it's so far been discussing the complexity of being a Black man in, I'm assuming, 1960s New York City, and about cross-racial relationships, and it just the intricacies and the weirdness and the prejudice that comes along with those sorts of relationships. Also, you can see sticking out the front is this lovely bookmark that Hillary bought for one for each of the ladies on the trip, which was very lovely of her. So I am super enjoying this so far, though I don't still really know what it's about, and I will definitely be finishing it before the end of the month, and I look forward to chatting with Hillary more and more and more about James Baldwin. And then I visited my sister, and then I went and visited Acacia, and one of the first places, in fact I think it was the first place we stopped after I got off the plane in Maine, was a bookstore called Bull Moose, which you've probably heard Acacia talk about quite often. And there we both found copies of The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Chbosky. And you might have seen on her channel, or it might be forthcoming, a video that she and I did where we discussed The Perks of Being a Wallflower. So I will link that down below when I have the link. In case you didn't know, this is about Charlie, who's suffering from some mental difficulties, and it's about forming friendships and being in high school and the intricacies and the different sorts of things that high schoolers can become involved with emotionally, physically, culturally, and all such things like that. So yes, it's not the happiest book, but I love the movie, so I'm looking forward to reading it. And of course, Acacia could not help herself from just having books to give to me, so these are 4 that I didn't have to buy myself that I'm really excited to show you, so let's get on with it. This first one is a paperback copy of Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck with the adorable mint spine. I don't know what these penguin editions are, but I love these mint spines and these penguin editions. Acacia saw this for really cheap and decided that maybe I wanted a paperback copy of Grapes of Wrath rather than the hardcover that I hauled a couple months ago, and she was very right. It also cutely has a name in the front cover and a nice little handy chart from a student who probably read this, so I'm not going to look at that in case it's got spoilers. But I'm really pleased to have a minty spine paperback version of Grapes of Wrath. This will definitely make it easier for me to get on reading it, since it'll be an easier reading experience physically with holding in my hands. So yes, very excited for Grapes of Wrath. And then she had duplicates of these 2 Sarah Moss books of the Title Zone fame recently here on BookTube. Acacia has read almost all, if not all, of Sarah Moss's works, and these 2 are by far her favorites over the Title Zone and anything else. This is Bodies of Light and Signs for Lost Children. Acacia decided to give to me because they don't quite match, but you know, they're kind of expensive, so I was really pleased to get copies of them. So these both are set in Victorian times. They have to deal with mental institutions, and I think in this one Japan comes up. I really don't know what to expect, but I'm really excited to give these a go. I've been eyeing them for quite a time, but fortunately Acacia said, wait, I'll hook you up, and she did. So I'm definitely really excited to get to these. I'm not sure when, but hopefully Bodies of Light I'll be getting to within the next 4 months or so. I know that's not the 30-day rule, but I didn't buy them, so it doesn't count. You can't hold me accountable for that. And then Acacia recently bought this copy of Fingersmith by Sarah Waters, but it came in a poor condition from what she expects of used books. The condition of this book doesn't bother me at all, so she let me take this, and then I replaced it with a new copy for her when we were in Boston. This is one of the most beloved Sarah Waters books ever. I myself have only read Tipping the Velvet, and that was probably in 2013, so I have been on the lookout for this, but I just have never found it in bookstores, so I've never picked it up until now. I'm hoping to maybe sneak this in December, because Sarah Waters books often take place in like Victorian, but definitely historical time periods, and it's a little bit gothic, dark, stormy nights. It's just this perfect sort of book to read when you are cozy in front of a fireplace and it's dark out and you just need to get lost into a world. So I am very much looking forward to this. It's about time that Fingersmith ended up in my hands. And then finally, this last book was the last book I acquired on my travels, and it was one of the books that I purchased for myself, and it is The Clay Girl by Heather Tucker. This Acacia could not stop raving about, and we saw it in almost every single bookstore that we visited, but I wasn't sure how many books I was going to acquire, but on the last day of the travels, we saw this and I said, okay, it is time, Clay Girl. This is about a young girl who gets uprooted from her family due to a tragedy involving her parents. She and her sisters are then displaced to different relatives, as far as I know. The joy of this, and the thing that Acacia loved about it, was the writing style. It's just so unique, and the way that this young girl processes the changes that is happening in her life, she almost turns it into a Wonderland sort of experience to explain what's going on, or perhaps to make what's going on a bit more bearable. I really don't know much more to expect from that, but I read the first few pages and the writing style is just absolutely delightful, whimsical, and a little bit of dark, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting to this. I am really glad that I picked it up in Acacia's company as well. Just double trouble. So those are the books that I acquired acquired over in New England, and yes, I managed to fit them into my luggage somehow. It must have been the magic of Tetris or something like that. So fingers crossed that I can read 4, maybe 5 of those by the end of the year. Who knows, but you know, let's just try. Unfortunately, with me being unemployed still, I have the extra time. So fingers crossed. Please let me know in the comments down below if you've acquired any new books and what they might be. Are you more of a book buyer in the summertime or in the cozy winter time? Or like me, apart from this travel trip, I'm on a book buying ban because Santa will be very mad at me if I buy something for myself in the lead up to Christmas. So in any case, I hope that you enjoyed the video, have been having lovely times. Thank you for watching, and until next time, continue to be lovely. Your Clay Girl. And thank you to my patrons who support me through Patreon. I hope you're having a lovely day, reading a wonderful book, and enjoying the best cup of a hot beverage you've had all month.